Hello everyone, thank you for stopping by. Today we got the JJRC Q65. I'm going to go over a rundown of all the upgrades that I've done to it and all the problems that I've had doing so. First off, we'll go show the little bit of paint I did just to be a little different. And then we got the radiator painted up because it looks so much better. We got our no face, spirit character. Painted that black just because it looks better. You can see we got some cloth on the seats, and I painted up the instrument cluster and the steering wheel. Got little things lit up. Watch out, there's a battery on here, you might blow up. Got what is a 10 scale fire extinguisher, so it actually looks more like a 10-gallon big ol' guy in here, but that's cool, I like it, it looks good anyways. Our cool CB radio, this was actually from Etsy. A little custom 3D printed guy that came just like that. And the guy was awesome enough to even throw in this little basket that's got all my screws in it right now. And it even clicks into place. And locks in. Like it was made for this. Like he knew what I was doing. But I think that was pretty awesome of him to do that. We got our painted rims. I just didn't like everything being green, even though it is my favorite color. We took the bumper off. We can get to obstacles a lot easier when we don't have that there. Tires are a lot more exposed, and it definitely helps. You can see I've got it in display mode, so everything's taken apart. One of the first things I did, it didn't have enough power for me. It went, but it just not enough. It was flat land was good, it bounced around, but if you had any obstacles, it just stopped. And it didn't have acceleration. It was kind of pitiful. So I went ahead and got some WPL parts. It's for the B36. And we got this guy, which was stock, the 4.8. Get rid of that for some WPL, the 7.4. And then we went ahead and got the servo to make it fully proportional steering, which is awesome. This little guy does great. I think it has more than enough power. Anything else is kind of crazy, but I think it does great. The electronics made it a bit faster when we swapped. The motor kinda started making noise. I figured it was gonna burn out. It's just the stock. So I got a 260, which was awesome because it actually fit right in and clicked. But as you can tell, it's a little bit taller than the stock motor, the 180. So I had to lower the basket because I don't want to hollow out that spot. I got this pretty much for the aesthetics of it, and I don't want to take out my shifting column and my CB radio to make a motor fit. If that was the case, I would keep it static as a display because it just looks better that way. But still, even with the 260, I was getting a lot of play inside the axles and stuff, so we went ahead and swapped out the stock plastic geared axles and got some B36 WPL axles. They got metal gears, which help cut down the play a bit, and then also don't have to worry too much about them wearing out. And then you can see they're actually, the new ones are a bit smaller than the stock ones. Or sorry, yes, the new ones are a bit smaller than the stock ones, which actually help and give it more ground clearance, which was nice. And then the shafts were stock, which are nice, but they're plastic. I figured they're probably going to go, and I want more weight in the bottom of it to give it lower center of gravity. So I went ahead and got some metal guys. They weren't really necessary. I've heard people have had problems with these. Me personally, they worked great. I had no problem at all. They're easy to take off. They're easy to clean. They say once you take them off and clean them that you'll never get them back, but it worked great for me. However, when I did buy the 260, you can see that these were actually set, opposed to these guys who aren't set. They've got nice flat spots so you can set it. I had to actually cut those off and then make flat spots. So if you're looking for a 260, be careful, because mine came with different shafts that did not have the locks, and they had to be cut off. They did not want to come off no matter what I did. So I cut them and flattened them so that these guys could fit. But even with the 260 motor over the 180, I still wasn't getting the power that I wanted. So now, here we are with a 370 with the nice metal transfer case, and that motor is probably bigger than both the motors combined from before. The only problem was it did come with different wires, so I take that off so I can set it up to the new one. I figured I'd show everyone what was going on first. That's kind of a problem. Unless you know how to solder, then it's not really a problem. You just solder them back on, which I'll end up doing here momentarily, and I'll show you all what it looks like when it's done. Another problem that we had is when we switched over to the WPL electronics, they didn't fit. They didn't screw in right, and I am not the kind of guy. I don't know what all those little things do and connections in between, and I'd have to drill a hole right in the middle pretty much to get this to set on the other screws, and I just didn't want to do it, so I got it hollowed out in there, so now it just slides up in there and friction holds it together once the body's on. And another thing is with the new motor, the way it sits up in here, I know that I had to kind of shape this. You can see it's a little, let's get it. See, there's a little hook in there. That's to go just around this right here once it's in there, because this is a big motor. A lot of heft. Yeah, I can get these two motors, and they're not as heavy as that one is together. But a problem with that, in order to keep this guy from coming up through our center console, which I really don't want to do, you can see it's attached to the baskets. And then I'll attach the baskets to the frame for now, and it should work. That's actually what I did for the 260. When I had it mounted in here, it was too tall, and like I had mentioned, I do not want to have to cut out my center console. So you can see where I actually had 3 holes drilled on the bottom where I had this mounted and a little bit lower. It does kill your ground clearance a little bit. You can see I got high centered a few times, but I'd rather get high centered than take out the awesome center console. Maybe I can find a way to lift it and that would work, because I've already taken out everything in here that I can take out without actually getting rid of everything, and I still had to drop it a little bit. But I'm gonna get everything together and see how it goes. Oh, one more upgrade. We did WPL B36 leaf springs, which gave it almost double the height, which was very nice considering that we are going to lose a bit of center just because of how the motor is. But this is everything that I've come across so far. The only trimming that I have done was just because I wanted my wires to fit in here without binding them. I don't want to mess anything up. And with the motors, I had to drop them a little bit lower. And I'll have to show you how I did that in another video. I hope this helps.